Aren't these earrings cute? I thought these would pair perfectly with today's video, it being a variegated Monstera Albo. I don't really wear dangly earrings, but I really like them. So today's video, nonetheless, is my Variegated Monstera collection. So just my Variegated Monstera. I do have a lot of Monstera. It is my favorite plant genus. So I figured what I would do is start with my more recent Monsteras that were brought into my collection, and I'll move through and kind of feature some of my older ones last. I do have quite a collection of variegated Monstera. A lot of them are duplicates or propagations that I've started from an original plant in my collection. I do have more variegated Monstera that I would love to bring into my collection one day whenever the price is right for some of those, because the price tag on some of those variegated Monstera varieties are pretty hefty. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I do have some of my more recent ones right here. So I'm gonna pop over there. Actually, I'll bring them over here so you can see them a little bit more closer to the window. It's a little bit dark in that corner, and we'll start with those. Starting with the most recent purchase, I just watered the pond last night in here, so it's very heavy. This one here is a Monstera Mint NOID or NOID, and this one is a non-tissue culture. So I got this probably a couple months ago, and it's already put out, let's see, this leaf here was the first leaf in my care. I love the green right here, and it's unfurling its second leaf, which is even more beautiful. I love all the green tones. Those are the two original leaves. And yeah, I can tell this new leaf is gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited to see it unfurl all the way. It has a lot of mint, and I love like more sectoral variegation as well. So I love that little spot of green right here. So I decided to go ahead and plant this one directly into semi-hydro when I got it, and it loves it. All my Monstera that I do have in semi-hydro really seem to enjoy it. This is just my DIY pond mix, so it's not like super chunky pond or anything. Not really any roots coming down yet, so it should be able to stay in here hopefully for the remainder of the year, but we'll see. I really like the non-tissue culture ones. I do have a couple tissue culture mints that I'm going to share with you. They're actually the same plant, and I made a whole video on that one, but they grow a lot slower, and I feel like they take a while to start to size up. They both recently put out a new leaf that is much bigger than the previous one, so I am hopeful that those ones will mature here, hopefully. I feel like the non-TC versions, the mint is just stable throughout. I feel like it's not going to revert on me like the TC mints are doing. But right now I have her just supported using a cocoa core pole. The stem is like way down here, so it really hasn't anchored on a whole lot. The aerial root is actually going back down into the pond right there. So it's like going back down. I do have some, like technically these you don't moisten or anything, but I do have a lot of these that cling inside of this little plastic wrap around it. So it definitely like uses this for support to climb, but it's not going to actually root into this pole. But she's a beauty. I love her. Since she is my most recent one, she's the one that I'm like constantly staring at right now. But I love all of my variegated Monsteras, but she's definitely a favorite right now. I feel like once she actually gets tall, then I'll chop her back, but I don't want to do that anytime soon on this one. I have to move some of my grow lights before I slam into them. So let me back up. This is Monstera Jungle Mint, and I got this one in, was it August of last year? I don't think it's been a full year yet, and it's grown so much in that time. She still has a lot of these original leaves here on the bottom, and I love the dark tone to this one. The green is so incredibly dark for a Monstera. She is gorgeous. I love this Monstera so much. But I love all of the tones, and it was doing a pattern where it was doing half moons a lot. Let me show you on this side. So she would do a half moon leaf, and she would do a less variegated one, and then she'd spit out like another half moon, another less variegated one behind that one. And then there's another like half moon over here, but it kind of broke that pattern because that would have been the one after the half moon. And so the newest one should have been a half moon, but it's actually broke the pattern. So it's actually a really big leaf already. Look at the size of that compared to my hand. I also love the fact that the holes, I feel like they go in a little bit more, the fenestrations to the center part of the vein. I don't have any secondary fenestrations at all. I don't know if this Monstera will eventually get those, but the leaf size is incredible. Like it's sized up so much, even compared to the last one, which I thought was pretty big on this one. I do need to extend her probably soon. Ugh. So she is on a Coco Corp hole as well. So when I had planted her in here, I couldn't get her to the pole right away. So I tried to like guide the stem to the pole. I'm gonna show you on this side. You can see that it's kind of anchored in right here, the aerial roots. And then I have some string that I've been using to actually secure the vine to here so that it, you know, really helps support it and allows those roots to kind of grip onto this. But yeah, her top set of roots, right here. So I'll probably extend very soon because yeah, those roots are gonna start coming out right here. I actually don't know how much more I wanna let her climb before I propagate her. Okay, I'm gonna have to move this grow light because I'm gonna bump into it. I have like 3 grow light stands behind me. So yeah, since she's already getting huge, I don't know, I do want to let her grow big, but I would like to chop her before she gets to be like massive. So what I might do is, actually I might let her overextend a little bit and do like a nice air layer on those roots that are coming out with this top node. Let her root up, do a chop at that point just to secure my top cutting before I go propagating her, and then I'll probably propagate the rest of the plant. I honestly will probably keep a second one for me, and then, you know, eventually I will grow some propagations out for my shop. But yeah, she is definitely a favorite. I love the dark green. Compared to Monstera Albo, the green is so much darker on this one. Such an easygoing Monstera too. It loves semi-hydro. I have this one in, I think this is a 9-inch self-watering pot for this one. And she is pretty thirsty for sure. I think her roots might be wanting to escape a little bit, but I'm gonna try and keep her in here for a while. Look at her from the back too, isn't she pretty? But also what I've been doing is lightly tying up the petioles to each other. It's not super tight, but it can help me guide the leaves to how I want. You know, make them a little bit tighter so it takes up a little bit of less space, and it also makes it more compact looking. So I don't do that with every petiole, but some of them here where it was growing differently towards the light source, I did that with. I really love these half moons. Half moons are like my favorite on plant leaves, like sectoral variegation. I really love a lot of these lower leaves as well. They're very minty. But yeah, if you can get a jungle mint, or if you've been eyeing a jungle mint, I know they're still pretty expensive, but if you love Monstera and you've been eyeing one, I definitely recommend. It's been such an easy Monstera. It hasn't browned. I mean, I've gotten a couple crispy edges here, probably just from inconsistent watering and stuff, but she hasn't browned at all. If you are tired of browning on like Monstera Aurea and Albo, and you really want to try a mint out, I definitely recommend getting a jungle mint for sure. Okay, I'm gonna put her down now. And the lighting situation for those, it's off right now, so it wouldn't be too bright, but I have a Barina tower light, and then, like I said, I also have a couple other standing lights, one like over here and over here. So it's really the only light on it. I did have it over here. Actually, I didn't know. I was gonna say I thought I had it over here closer to the window, but I actually had it on the floor, so it really wasn't getting any of my window conditions, because back in that corner it is pretty dark. I do feed my plants pretty well, especially my palm plants. I'm always refreshing nutrients every week, and it is living in a pretty warm environment. It's nearly 80 degrees. Well, sometimes it reaches like 81 or even 82 in this plant room over the summer, so it's used to a very, very warm environment, but humidity is around 40%. 45% right now. So not the best humidity wise, but it's very warm in here and it definitely appreciates it. I'm pretty sure this one here is my next newer one that I got. It was an import in the fall, I think. It's technically, they're calling it a white tiger Monstera Albo, but to me, this Monstera Albo doesn't look any different than a regular Monstera Albo. So I'm not sure if the white tiger name is just a different name that they're calling it, but it looks almost identical to, yeah, my regular Monstera Albos. This import came in really rough shape. So in the time that I have like rehabbed it and stuff, it's actually grown a lot. More so recently, I would say it's done like these 3 leaves more recently, and it's actually getting ready to push its another leaf here. This one still hasn't fully hardened off. You can see it's a little bit lighter in color compared to that one. I put this one in semi-hydro as well. The stem is pretty white, like it's pretty marbled and everything, but yeah, I just don't see the difference in a white tiger, but I'm really happy to have it nonetheless. I love Monstera Albo. Majority of my variegated Monsteras are Monstera Albo. But yeah, it's really cute. It's given me some fenestrations. The newest leaf isn't fenestrated, but that's okay. I'll probably change the support system at some point. Right now, I just have a little stake in here because like I said, like this just probably happened within the last couple of months. And I don't think it's rooted or anything in here right now, but yeah, I'm glad it survived because I honestly didn't think it was going to. All the roots were completely rotted. It felt like it took months and months to rehab, and then I finally got some roots to grow, and yeah, I went through a lot. So I don't know, personally, I don't know if I'll keep this Monstera in my collection. I may just propagate it up because I have so many Monstera Albos. But I like that it's a smaller Monstera in my collection because some of them have gotten really big and huge. So it's definitely a cutie. I really like this one. So we'll see how it grows for me. But yeah, if you know the difference in a white tiger compared to a regular Monstera Albo, let me know. But to me, like just having multiple Monstera Albos, I don't see a difference in this one. So next up are my tissue culture mint Monsteras. So I believe I got these in 23. It was like July, August time frame. And I really wanted a Monstera mint at that time. And TC mints were out, but they were still kind of pricey, but I really wanted one. I really do wish I would have waited on this one and not purchased a TC mint. Because like I said earlier, the variegation is definitely not continuing the minty tones. So this Monstera Mint has had such a long journey in my collection. I think I made a couple videos on this plant. So the most recent video I did, I think was last year, where the original plant of this was growing so many babies from the callus tissue, I guess, that was left on this particular Monstera Mint. And I chopped it away and I ended up with like 9 little separate pieces, but only 5 or 6 of them survived. And so I ended up chopping the top away, which I no longer have. It just did not do well, the top cutting. The root system was fine. The leaves were just so sad looking, it wouldn't grow. So I ended up just getting rid of that top cutting. And so what's left here of that plant is the mid cutting and the bottom cutting. This one is the mid cutting and this one is the bottom cutting. Let me show you the bottom first. So when I had cut it all the way back, you can see the original stump right there. I don't know if you can make it out with the pollen. And so the first leaf was very minty that it gave me, and then it gave me this leaf, and then the third leaf was over here, and that was the 4th leaf that grew in. And it took a bit to push this leaf, which was still kind of minty, so it was promising, but the most recent leaf is definitely less minty, but it sized up nicely. So I'm happy to see it actually sizing up because yeah, this plant is going on about 2 years old, and it's crazy that I've only gotten this far with it after everything that it's been through. I still really love her. I really wanted her at one point. So I'm going to keep at least one of these mints in my collection. I just don't know which one. I don't know if I'll end up propagating the other one, or I might just keep them both. I don't know. I don't really need 2 TC mints now, but I don't really want to. I don't think I want to sell this one just because I feel like if somebody is looking for a mint, they more than likely want one that's going to be more minty. And I would hate for someone to be like unhappy with a plant that's just going to probably grow green. I could try and chop it back again and stuff, but I feel like it's just going to delay its growth and everything, and I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah, that's the bottom section, and the top section is here. So this mid cutting, you can actually see the stump right there, maybe right there. And so yeah, this was the oh, this was the original leaf from the plant that I had, and then this leaf came in, or was this another original leaf? I don't remember. And then this one came out. There's this one over here, this one, and this one. So this is the most recent one. It just spit out not that long ago, and it definitely sized up. It's interesting to me how they kind of sized up at the same time. This one, the mid cutting's definitely, it seems to be a bit bigger, which makes sense because it was the middle part of the plant, whereas the other one had to regrow from a single node. Oh yeah, this one's really rooted. Look at that. I'm probably gonna leave it in here though. Oh, I should probably, I actually don't really like these self-watering pots as much because I feel like the roots tend to escape out of these. I like the ones with the meters, so I'll probably repot this one at some point. So yeah, I still like my TC mints. They're just not the same. They're not the same as the other mints that I showed you, but they're still beautiful, and nonetheless, I still love them, and I'm happy that they're actually growing now because it's been a process. So yeah, Monstera Mint tissue culture. I was actually just trying to remember which Monstera I bought before the mint, and I don't think I brought any new Monstera into my collection. So my older variegated Monsteras are my Albos, my Thais, and my Aureas, and I have a lot. I have a lot. I have like 7 or 8 Albos to show you. 3 of the Albos were original plants, so they're 3 separate genetics. And I have some that I've taken cuttings from and restarted as like a second mother plant in my collection. And then I also have 2 Thais and 2 Aureas. So my first variegated Monstera are the Albos. I'll do those last. And then after that was the Thais, or one of the Thais. And then after that was the Aureas. So let me show you the Aureas since that's technically the next plant. So I do have 2 Aureas in my collection. My older one I got in 2021 as a top cutting, and it's pretty big right now, and I do want to prop that one. And then I ended up getting this one here in 23, I believe as well. Or was it early 24? It might have been early 24. I got this specimen because it was more variegated. I did propagate this one because I initially put it in like a soil mix, and I wanted to switch it to semi-hydro, so I propagated the entire plant up, and then the top cutting is what I stuck in pond with roots, and so it's just now starting to grow a lot more. And we just ignore the browning on Monstera Aurea. We just pretend it's not there, or we cut it away. But this one is more variegated for sure. And I haven't tied the vines, the petioles, so what I might do is kind of tie them a little bit. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll bring them closer like this. I'll kind of tie and lift them up so that it's more compact. It looks better than like that to me. So I need to do that with this one. I ended up just putting a stake into this one, and then I have it Velcroed right here. But yeah, since she is highly variegated, the yellow does tend to brown a lot more easily. I get more browning on my Aurea than the Albos. For me, I tend to get browning when there's been like inconsistent watering, if I've been a little bit late with watering, if I water too heavily and it gets like edema in the leaf tissue where the, you know, where it lacks the green, it definitely browns more easily. When I'm more consistent with watering, I get less browning, but I feel like for me, the browning just comes no matter what on my Aureas. It just happens. So yeah, I haven't found a way to fully prevent it. I've been using silica consistently every week for 2 years now, I think. Has it been 2 years? Or it'll be 2 years soon. And for me, the silica doesn't prevent the browning at all, but it's more or less a user error on the watering. But yeah, I really love this Aurea because she is so variegated. I love yellow variegation as well. That's the newest leaf. It is so pretty. It's not fully hardened. The Aurea takes a while to fully burn in the yellow, so it'll come out looking very light, like a lime green, and then it fades to a yellow. I think that's what drew me to this Monstera Aurea is yeah, it just has so many different tones of green and yellow and white, lime green, dark green, you name it. So she's pushing a new leaf here. And yeah, I feel like I haven't had this one potted up for too long in pond, so I'll probably let this one grow and get big, and then I'll end up chopping it back. But I do really like that this one is more variegated than my other one, but my other one is huge and it's more sentimental, but I do want to chop it. It needs to be chopped. It has some aerial roots coming in right now, so I might air layer it soon so I can do a top cutting into pond. It's in my soil mix, like an old soil mix. But I might switch it over to pond and chop the rest of the plant up so I can have some props. But let me show you that one. Oh my goodness, you can't even, I don't think you can even see her all the way. Oh, she's huge. So this is the newest leaf here, and this was the most recent one, which is definitely the biggest leaf that I've had on this plant for sure. And I have her in a pretty big pot, but she's my only Monstera now that is not in pond. She's in my old mix. It's very, very chunky and she's very rooted. So I try to be as consistent as I can. I usually water on a routine every 7 days, but sometimes if I'm off a day or two or I get behind, that's when I notice like the browning. So this Monstera would actually be a lot bigger nowadays, but I had to restart her in, what was it, 23? Or 22, I don't remember. And she's been growing ever since. I have a core pole for her as well. And she is overextended. Look at those aerial roots. I think that's so cool. So this is where I'm thinking about air layering right here, this little section, and taking probably the 3 newest leaves right here and planting her in semi-hydro. And yeah, I'll propagate the rest of the plant up. That stem is getting very thick, and she has anchored onto this core pole. You can see her roots here have just clung to it. She is like anchored on there. Yeah, the newest leaf here is very, very pretty. It hasn't fully hardened yet, this one. I'm surprised to put out a new leaf so soon already. I wasn't thinking she would push out another new leaf. It actually looks to be pretty variegated, which is nice. I'm getting a lot more fenestrations here too, which is exciting. So I think it's a good time to go ahead and chop her if she's getting, she'll probably size down a little bit, but I feel like once I move her over to semi-hydro, she might really enjoy that. And I feel like might even mature more for me. She's beautiful though. I hate to chop her back. I've been so hesitant for the last couple of months, but it gets to a point where they outgrow your space. So you really do have to do something about it. So I'm like lifting her up like this. She's so rooted in here. But yeah, I love Monstera Aurea. I paid so much for my plant back in the day. It's crazy that you can get these plants for as little as you can nowadays, because I got her during the peak pandemic time, 2021. That top cutting was so expensive. But, you know, I just wanted to go ahead and get her and grow her out. And I'm really happy, you know, that I have her. She's definitely sentimental, and I, you know, wanted to splurge on her at the time, and she made me so happy. I am excited to get her prop though. I think I'm ready, because it would be nice to have some Aurea to grow out, and then I won't have like, she's pretty much going to be hitting the ceiling over here soon. So I feel like it's time. So yeah, those are my 2 Aureas. So my Monstera Albos were first. I'm going to show all those last. I'm going to go ahead and show you the Monstera ties that I have. Now I have 2. One is a tissue culture that I currently have outside on the patio. I repotted it earlier this year, I think April, and I upsized it quite a bit and stuck it out there for the summer. It hasn't really done much. I'll just insert some clips of that one. It started browning on the white part on one of the leaves, so it still looks okay. Like I haven't checked the root system out or anything. Like I hope I didn't shock it and it started rotting. So I think it's just settling into its pot. Like the other leaves still look okay. I've been cautious on watering because the spot that it's in, it gets some east morning light like through the patio out there. But you know, throughout the rest of the day, it's kind of minimal light. So it seems okay so far. I'm just waiting for it to push a new leaf. I will bring it inside and just leave it somewhere inside for the winter season. Since it hasn't gotten huge yet or anything. I left my regular Deliciosa out there all winter and it died back. It's still alive, it's still growing back, but I've had to pretty much restart it. So I don't think I want to chance the Thai out there all winter. So yeah, I think I'll bring that in. But this one here is kind of a sad situation. It is rooting now, finally. It has an aerial root growing right there. This one here I got as a node back in the day. And for like a little chunk, it was like, I think I paid like $85 for it or something. This was back in 21, I believe, as well. I actually had a Thai before these two Thais that did not make it, that I bought like early 21, I believe. But this one here I got and I grew it out and it was a pretty big plant, but most recently I decided to prop the top section because I wanted to switch it to semi-hydro, and yeah, the spacing is so tight on the Thais, like the internode spacing, that I accidentally didn't change the water for like over a week, and I came in here and the stem was rotting. So I cut it again and I think it's okay now. It's rooting, but I'm gonna plant this one in semi-hydro once it gets a little bit more roots and let this one grow in pond. So I'm happy that I still have a big leaf. I was a little worried it was gonna croak. I was gonna be sad, but I did prop the rest of the plant up. So I have, I think, 3 or 4 nodes that I'm growing out that are doing okay. So they're rooting in a prop bin and some new growth is coming in. So I at least have some chunks of this one. So as long as this one's okay, I'll get rid of the chunks. I know these are common now, like they've been TC'd, so you can get these for really, really inexpensive at the big box store, like 20, 30 bucks. Even huge ones now you can find at Lowe's and stuff, and Costco. It's crazy. You can find these plants just down the road. So yeah, I love Monstera Thai as well, so I hope this one does okay and it bounces back. But the rooting is good. I'm happy to see roots and the leaf looks happy. So yeah, we'll switch this one to semi-hydro here once it bounces back. I had to change my battery. Okay, last up are all of my Monstera Albos, so brace yourself. There is a lot to go through. So like I was saying earlier, 3 Monstera Albos in my collection are separate plants. I got them at separate times. And my original OG one is not the big one in my plant room, believe it or not. So my original one that I really wanted for so long back in the day, I really wanted a Monstera Albo. Got a cutting, it was so expensive during that time, and it took a 1.5 years to grow and to do anything. I was so new with propagating at that time as well. I was learning and being new and being anxious that I wasn't growing. I was so upset that I ended up down the road, like a year later, not quite a year later, I ended up getting my other 2 because I was so impatient because it wasn't growing. So that's how I technically ended up with 3 different Monstera Albos in my collection. And funny enough, they were actually all from the same seller, so they could be related actually genetically. I didn't know at the time that they were from the same seller because I bought them on different places. I think I bought one on eBay and the other one was Facebook, but I'm not active on Facebook anymore. But let me show you my OG one first because it's more variegated. It does grow more slowly. I can pop some pictures too on the screen of what it looked like back in the day. But because she had root rot, I had to restart her and I wanted her to be in pond, but this is what she looks like now. Ooh. She's a lot more white. I love this Monstera Albo so much. I do have a little bit of browning. Newest leaf is beautiful. So I wanted to grow this one in pond because I had originally potted this one up, I believe, back into my soil mix, but I really wanted this one to be in pond because my big one here that I'm going to show you is in pond and it loves it. So although this one does, my big one does have some really beautiful variegated leaves, I wanted a more white one that was big. So that's my goal with this one, is to grow it big as well. And I'll eventually chop it back, but I want her to grow big for me. And the stem is very white. It's like a half moon stem. It's green, it has a lot of white. I don't have anything supporting her right now, but I'm probably going to add a core pole in here. I honestly don't know why I didn't add that in already. I think because it was just a cutting. I think it was mid cuttings that I added in here, some of these bottom ones. And there's actually a node growing here, which I realized the other day. There is like a second little plant coming in right here behind it, which is kind of cool. So yeah, this one does produce a lot of white, so I am anxious about future leaves. I hope they don't come in all white or anything, but she is doing a lot of green compared to the first time I tried to grow her. She had a lot of white. But yeah, this is my original plant from back in the day. It's crazy, but she's beautiful. I love her, and I can't wait to see her grow more. And the other two Monstera Albos in here are from the same plant. One is the bottom part of the plant, and one is the top part, the huge part. So I did a video where I let it grow really tall, and then I ended up propagating it. So I'll link that video up here somewhere. And if you wanted to see that process of me chopping the tall Monstera Albo, I took the top section and directly planted it into pond. It didn't really have a ton of extra roots. It mostly just had air roots. And I was worried it wasn't going to make it, but it did, and it's massive right now. I actually want to see if I can get it down. I can get it down, like I'm pretty strong, but it's a huge plant, you guys. Okay, let me try this. Okay, I'm gonna back you up for this. Oh my goodness. I can't, like, you can't even see her. I can't even see anything. She's massive. Oh, this is so heavy. Okay, we used to have a St. Bernard, so I'm used to like lifting. And I was a nurse, so I was used to lifting. But yeah, she is pretty big. She has some mature leaves here. Oh my gosh, she's gonna hit the fan. Oh my gosh, she's so heavy. Yeah, let me sit her down on the floor, and then I'll just put some B-roll in of her. You can actually see her a little bit. So yeah, I will do some B-roll and show you her in her entirety. That got me out of breath. So she's technically two vines in here. I potted two up together, and that's why it's a little bit more full looking. There is one vine that is a little bit more green, so it doesn't have as much variegation. And then there's the other side that is more variegated. Even the variegated side spit out like an all green leaf. It was very interesting. And then it spit out like a highly variegated leaf. So it's so cool to me how genetics can be. It's just like one leaf, it's highly variegated. The next leaf, there's barely any variegation. I just think it's so fascinating, and that's part of the reason why I love variegated plants so much. Is I love the not knowing what is going to come next. I just love the look of variegated plants, and so it's so fun to me. But she's on 3 layers of a core pole. I just extended her recently, and I also have a stake in here for support, so she's pretty secure. And one of the vines flew way off the pole, but I recently tried to secure it back there. So I'm gonna let her grow as much as she can until I feel like I need to prop her again. She's very happy, she's very big, like I said, and I love this Albo so much because she grew huge for me. She was in pond the longest, so I feel like she matured quicker being in pond as long as she has, and that's why I wanted my other Monsteras in pond, because of how well this one did. She does get pretty thirsty because she is a big mama plant. I'm probably going to upsize her at some point. She's in a 10 by 11 inch planter right now, so I may go up. I'm gonna avoid doing it this year. I'm gonna try and wait until the spring. I may upsize her. I'm gonna try and let her hang out as long as I can. But yeah, she does drink up a lot of water. She gets a lot of nutrients because she drinks up the water. But she's beautiful. I've had no issues with her. Loves semi-hydro, just a gorgeous plant. There will be a day where I'll have to chop her back a little bit, but hopefully not anytime soon. I just realized how much brighter it got in here, because she's like at the window on the shelf, and so she's blocking pretty much an entire window. So I'm like, wow, it got so bright in here. But yeah, I love her so much. So the bottom part, I'll go ahead and put some B-roll in of her bottom part. So that was like all the growth at the very bottom from her initially when I chopped, because I took the top section of this plant and planted her directly in here. And so the bottom part has grown a lot, and it has spit out a lot of white recently. It's doing a lot more white than I want it to. But that one I am going to chop all the way back, I believe, and take all those propagations, because I have her, technically the bottom part, as a mother plant, and then I also have, I actually have some Monstera Albos in the shop room that I'm going to go into and show you. Those are, one of those is different genetics, and I'll show you the difference. And that one, I'm probably going to chop back as well since it's growing a little bit more. But I have a couple restarts. I have a restart of her that is in there that is growing, and I'm going to let that one grow. And then I have another propagation that is growing that I use as a mother plant as well. So I have a lot of Monstera Albos, but they all came from my original 3 Albos that I bought back in the day. I'm gonna go ahead and pop in there really quick, grab those Monsteras, and I'll show you those and we'll get finished up. Oh, you know what? I forgot I had these as well. They're all white. And I don't plan on doing anything with these. I'm just basically letting them grow and see what happens. It's almost like a white lava in a way, but this is one of the props that came in all white, and I have this one in pond. I have chopped it back to the lowest node possible because I was trying to salvage this. I had another vine or 2 in here that were all white as well, and I chopped it back to the lowest node possible, grew in all white again, so I took those out. And this one here, same thing, it's growing in all white again, so there's no saving this. I can't chop it back anymore. The newest leaf is all white with a fenny, and then I have some of these that have some green. So yeah, that one's just chilling. It's just going to hang out in here. It's pretty to look at, but I just, yeah, there's no really saving this. And this one here is another prop that came in all white. I had cut a leaf off because it browned, but yeah, there's no saving this one either. So yeah, that's the genetics sometimes, the way it goes. You just don't know where the new growth is going to come from, and the way the cells divide, I guess. It just is the name of the game when you are propagating. Okay, I turned another light on. I don't feel like there's enough light. I don't want to go like all the way in there. Even though I have to go in and get these plants, but I wanted to show you out here in the hallway. So this is a cutting from my big moss pole that I just showed you. That's the original leaf. And I was going to sell this one, but it got too rooted in water, so I potted it up, and then the first leaf that it spit out was, it had a fenestration already, which was so funny from a propagation. And it's already so mature. That leaf spit out, and then this leaf, it's already working on a new one, which is pretty white. So I'm gonna let this one be another mother plant, and just let it grow, and I'll eventually prop it back. I need to water in here. This afternoon, this is completely dry, but yeah, she's very rooted. But I think it's so cool because this cutting was so mature, like the actual stem, this was towards the top of the plant, was so thick in here. And so that's why the growth is so mature already, because yeah, this cutting was so mature. But yeah, I'll add like a stake or something and get her supported. But I'm gonna let her grow probably another 5, 6 or so leaves, and then I'm trying to stagger my Monstera Albo so I can prop them back at different times, so I can continually have cuttings. But yeah, she's not getting chopped for a little bit though. Here's another Monstera Albo that definitely needs to be repotted. This is my old pot, old mix. I don't even know what's going on in here. I had chopped her back all the way once before, and so from this node, this entire thing here has grown. I'll probably wait on this one and prop my other one and the one in the plant room, and then I'll just get this repotted and staked. But this one here, I don't know technically which mother plant this one came from. Based off the stem coloring and based on how it looks to me, I feel like this is another one from my big Monstera Albo plant. The stem isn't as white and the growth isn't as white as the original highly variegated one that I have, but the growth is still like pretty variegated. That's the new leaf. It's doing some half moons, which was my favorite. I really would love a sectoral Monstera Albo, like one that does half white, half green, all the way up. I came across a photo of one, I feel like recently, and it's so pretty. So maybe one day I'll get a sectoral variegated Monstera Albo. This one here, I believe, is different genetics from my other 2, because this one is more marbly. That leaf there. I feel like it looks different than my other ones. at least to me. I feel like the yellow or the white is more of a creamier white than a white white. So I don't know, I feel like this is my other one that I had, but I've chopped this one back a couple of times. I chopped it back here, and so this is the new growth. So I am gonna chop this one back again and then get this repotted because this is so old, and let this grow out with my other one. But yeah, these two leaves here are so pretty. Oh, I love that. It spit out an all white one, which is browning. Oh, this is the one that was doing the weird thing. Yes, after I cut it back, it spit this leaf out, which was so tiny and weird. And then it spit out the all white one next. So after that leaf was an all white one. And then it spit out this one here, which was huge and normal. So it was very interesting how that happened. And then everything else since has been beautiful. So yeah, is this all my Monstera Albos? I think so. I think that's all my Variegated Monstera that I have. I don't think I have any others. I hope you enjoyed my Variegated Monstera Deliciosa Variegata collection. It was a lot of fun sharing them all with you, and I could chat more about them and their history. I know I've talked about these plants some on my channel before, but I am propagating some and making a video on that. Probably not for a couple weeks because I need to make room in the shop room for all the propagations. But if you are interested in that, I am filming it, and I'll link my other Monstera Albo propagating video that I have because I went into a lot more details on how I propagate them. But yeah, it was a lot of fun sharing today, and I'm gonna get this big girl put back up here on the counter. Let me know if you have any questions below. Thank you so much for watching and for being here, and I will talk to you again soon. Now that the Monstera Albo is out of the window, I wanted to show you the pinks. These are my first pink flowers. These are Pinguicula's carnivorous plants. Look how cute they are. Look at the little flowers. They're so stinking cute. Right? Look at that. Look how cute. I love these guys so much.